Hi, my name is Matt Rosenberg. I teach second grade at Arrowhead Elementary School, which is in the Olentangy Local School District. I have taught second grade for 10 years. I taught 1 year of fourth grade and then moved down to second grade and truly enjoy the age of the students as well as the content that's taught. I have my bachelor's degree from Ohio State University. I have my master's degree from Ashland University, and then also currently finishing up my technology endorsement, obviously from Ashland as well. My unit was entitled Using Nonfiction Elements to Increase Comprehension, which overall goal was for second graders to not just be able to decode nonfiction text, but be able to use the elements such as photographs, table of contents, glossary, and cutaways in order to increase their comprehension or even help them decode unfamiliar words. I chose this topic because current state standards as well as the new national standards place a high emphasis on nonfiction text, whether it be in science, language arts, and we were able to incorporate our technology standards as well. So our foundation is from the state standards, and I also chose this topic because there's a natural interest in children for nonfiction text, even though the text can often be more difficult because of the vocabulary. So the natural interest there, combined with the natural interest in technology, I felt was a win-win situation, and to get students even more motivated, some that don't necessarily enjoy reading were able to use technology and nonfiction to kind of increase that motivation. So first, we were deciding what the foundation or the baseline should be, and another teacher and I decided that number one, students should be able to identify fiction and nonfiction text, then be able to identify all four elements which we were going to teach, simple by just identifying them in a text, given a text on a one-on-one situation. And those were a table of contents, glossary, cutaway, and photograph. The pre-test was then me pulling over every student, sitting down one-on-one with a pile of books, and first they had to tell me which books were fiction and nonfiction into two categories, and then we chose one book, student's preference, and they attempted or did tell me and locate all four elements correctly. Then we were able to move on in order to how to use those elements to increase comprehension. So once these elements were mastered, I was able to move on and teach a little higher level. The technologies that were used throughout the activities to teach a little greater in depth were whole group, smartboard in the classroom. Then we often used the wireless laptop computers as well, and we used certain specific software which incorporated language arts where nonfiction text where it was read aloud to students along with questioning at the end, and it also incorporated the elements on the laptop computers. Therefore, students were exposed to a wide variety of text, far more than in the past, just using conventional techniques. Students were also able to use the internet to search and find elements and photographs, and we incorporated technology standards by creating productions and publications that involve students learning how to copy and paste and save images, as well as logging in and saving things on their own server, which will follow them the rest of their lives at Olentangy. So that was a mixture of kind of science skills as well as language arts standards and also technology. So overall, throughout the unit, students were expected to be able to explain how a specific element impacted or increased their ability to understand something about the text, even if it was just a bold-faced word and they used the glossary, or if it was the table of contents and they wanted to find out where a specific fact would be found. That is increasing overall comprehension and their awareness as a reader. In the past, cutting out simple pictures from the magazine was fun, but the overall motivation this time around was much higher. Some of my struggling readers who really just cringed at the thought of reading even nonfiction text. Once I integrated Raz Kids and Tumble Books, which was specific software on the internet, using the laptop computers, and they were able to do that whole group with the smartboard and individually on the laptops. Increase in motivation I noticed when all of a sudden silent reading students were choosing nonfiction texts at a much greater rate than their previous just kind of a rut series that they had been in a fictional text. They were stepping outside of the box because they felt a little bit more comfortable. So overall, I believe that the unit did go well. We were able to incorporate a lot of technology. Um, the children worked diligently. The motivation was there. I think that overall, there was 2 or 3 students that had a difficult time explaining how a specific element helped, but the overall identification and awareness of the elements there was still present. So overall, I think the unit was definitely a success. If I were to change anything, I would try to think of how next year I could find even more resources besides Raz Kids and Tumble Books that can promote nonfiction text in an interesting way to students where they can work one-on-one or by themselves independently or in a large group. And then that also involves that questioning component to where the elements were on the screens as the book was read aloud and students were able to refer to those. So searching for additional resources and continuing to evolve as a teacher, but overall I do think the unit was a success. Thank you.